Hi agents, Laurie here coming at you with another training video. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to do a CMA. And the first thing I want to get to is within our how-to videos in the YouTube channel, there is going to be a way for you to go ahead and search. Just go ahead and click YouTube show help videos and type in CMA, and you will get all of the YouTube CMA videos that they already have out there. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I do a CMA, but there's more than one way to do the CMA in the same program. I mean, everybody kind of has their own little twist to it. So you might find an agent who uses it a little bit differently. I want you to know that all those videos are right there in the how-to videos YouTube channel. And so go ahead and do that when you have time to watch some of those videos. But here's how I generally go in to do a CMA. I'm going to be going to the search tab and then single family general, because I'm going to just do a general single family home CMA. And I'm going to do a CMA for, let's say, a house in, let's see, I'll take one in, I'll be looking for a house in Buffalo. I'm going to stick with that Buffalo area. And so I tend to do CMAs based on solds. I might consider and bring some pending and actives in later, but I start with solds, and that's because I have an appraisal background. So I really respect the data that comes in with solds, and it is the best data because it's something a buyer was actually willing to buy and close on, and money's been exchanged. So anybody can ask anything for a house when they list it. I tend to like to give people the sold information for when I'm doing a CMA. CMA stands for Competitive Market Analysis, so we're going to do it that way. And as some of you may have seen, I actually like to do my searches via map. You could do it via zip code and school district. There's a reason why I'll choose map over this for a sold CMA. Versus just active listing search, and that is because as an appraiser I learned to respect boundaries, and that's something some people may be aware of but may be new to some of the existing agents as well. So if I'm looking in the Buffalo area, if I zoom in, and you can hit the plus button to zoom in, and I get to a specific area that I'm looking for a house right here, okay, I'm going to not go over some boundaries. Some of those boundaries would be a river or a major highway. Now, more exact to that would be if we were to get towards Andover, Coon Rapids, where we are at with our office. I could do a search for some homes, say in the Coon Rapids area here. And I would probably go over this road. It's not a major road. But I would not do my search. Well, I would not include the houses on the other side of the river. So I would pick my tool, and I'm not drawing very specifically here, so just keep that in mind. I'm aware. But I would probably grab my tool that lets me do all different shapes, complete the shape, and not include anything over here. And the reason being for that is appraisers do that. So appraisers will not go over major highways, and 610 for sure is a major highway. Highway 10 could be considered a highway, major highway. It would depend on the appraiser. But a river definitely would be a thing that you can kind of see how they would get their shape in there, right? They would probably bracket this area. Now I'm going to clear that out, and I'm going to take my example of Buffalo because that's where I have to actually have a CMA done. So I'm looking at that area very carefully. Let me get to Buffalo in the center there, and I like to double click to get in. By the way, FYI, this map is pretty indicative of the lake water quality. This lake over here is a wonderful lake, and it's Lake Pulaski, and that's got really nice water quality. Can you see how much greener Buffalo Lake is? It truly does have kind of bad water quality. You can go for more information on the lake finder in the DNR website, but just FYI, that kind of strikes me as kind of accurate there. So if I zoom in, and I'm going to be looking in this area here, right around here, for home value. Now this is downtown Buffalo, and in some cases some of the houses will be very good criteria there to match. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my shape. That's how I typically start. And I'm going to pick this side of Buffalo for now. That might be getting a little bit too exact. I'm going to include these developments over here. Probably not too much lakeshore because the house I'm looking at is not on the lake. I'm getting a little crazy with my shape here, so excuse me while I draw. And I won't go into downtown Buffalo, but I can pick that. Now I can keep that shape, and I can also grab, you can do two shapes. So if I wanted to compare to this area over here, I could. And because it is Buffalo, I think I would probably actually consider this area. I would probably just draw all of Buffalo, to be honest. But I'm just showing off how I can just delete or take in some shapes. Highway 55 is not a major highway in that I would say that these properties were worth any more or less than these. So, and because we're within a 2-mile radius here, literally I probably would clear my map and use the circle shape and just grab these properties here. Let me see if that will work here. There we go. So I'm covering in some of the lake there, and I do realize that, and I'm already at, it'll tell you how wide you're going out. So I'm at 1.3 miles, 1.4 miles, 1.5, getting towards Maple Lake there a little bit, but it is still Buffalo School District. I'll go to just about 2 miles. That's pretty good right there. So that's where I'm going to grab my shape for my solds. I'm going to pop back into my criteria because obviously I've got 2,500 matches. That's not going to work. I'm going to now put in my close date. That's a big thing that I'm going to go with here. And I'm going to take this date on forward from the 2018 with a plus sign and take all solds of 191 to compare it to. Now this home is a single family home. And it is not a rambler. Ramblers tend to go for more, so I'm not going to go with one story. It is a split entry, but I will also compare it to 3 and 4 level splits because I think that those are splits as well. They all equal stairs. That's just how my thought process goes, and so that's how I do it. I'm not saying it's the only way, just saying that's how I do it. So now I've got 72 matches. This particular home I would like to make sure is going to be going with 3+ bedrooms. So I can narrow those down. Didn't do a whole lot of narrowing there. It also has a 3-stall garage, which is kind of unique. So that's probably going to bump some out. I went down to 40 matches. All right, now I'm going to start bracketing for price. I sold this person a house, this house, 2 years ago, and she's been waiting to sell. Something kind of tragic happened, and she just really would like to sell earlier than this, but she had to wait to get to her 2-year marks for capital gains reasons. So I actually know this house price very well. I know that we bought it for $223 2+ years ago. And so I know I don't need to go a whole lot less than $223. So I'm going to go $220, and I'm in the thousands here, so I can just go $220 dash. And I'm not sure where her house price would be, right? That's how we actually should kind of be, is open-minded. But I'm going to go, this is very open-minded, I'm going to go up to $270 just to make sure I'm encapsulating many of them. And I've got 30 matches. And then what I'm going to do is bracket for square footage. So total square footage or above ground square footage, one or the other. And in this case, I'm going to go with total square footage. And I believe her square footage is about 2,000 square feet. So I'm going to bracket this again for about, I'm going to go 1,750 to, I'll take it up to about 2,100 square feet. And now I've got 12 matches, just like that. It pops down into an area that I can say, well, there's some good comparisons. Now, if I didn't have enough, maybe I would go out a little further on my close date. I happen to know from being an appraiser that they will go out 2 years. I tend not to do it if I don't need to. In one case a few months ago I did, because it was kind of an unusual house and I knew I'd have to expand out my search. And sure enough, just shy of 2 years ago, there was a sale and we were able to use that before the house closed. So that was really fortunate. So that was a sale in the price range that we felt it was. In this case, I won't have to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it in that bracketing. And I am going to take a look at things here. So after we've gone ahead and gotten our 12 matches here, and we've looked at our price bracketing, we're going to go ahead and click results. And here are my results. And I could flip through these and look at them much more closer if I was actually doing CMA for final. In this case, she's not ready to list yet, so I'm just doing a preview CMA. And so in that case, I'd open them all up and look at them much more detailed. But here I've got 12 comparables sold, and that's a strong number. And I'm going to kind of look at them based on thumbnail view. I'm sorry, single line view. I actually like the single line grid. We've talked about that in the past because it allows me to look at all of them at once, and I can look at the total square footage and the foundation size, make sure the year built is solid as far as similar to hers. Here's some with 5 bedrooms, and really hers would not compare to a 5-bedroom at all, and those are getting into the $250 range. So I'm not sure that I would want to keep this one here. So I could check that and again go to the refine and discard that. Now I'm down to 11. So looking at these more split entry 4 plus, let's see here, so that's a little bit different. It's a 4-level split. And other than having an additional bedroom, here's another 5 bedrooms, but the price range is good and the square footage is right in there, so I'm going to leave that one. They might have just had like virtually no family rooms, so we could look at that one closer. So if I chose to keep these, and again, this one's a little bit lower price, so as I'm looking at this, I'm kind of contradicting myself, but that one's a little bit on the low side. So what I might want to do is take a look at that one and see why. What happened with this one? So we're going to look at the close date. That's September of 2018. I'm sorry, that's when it was received. The close date is actually November of 2018. 13 days on the market. It's a gem, only available due to relocation. Public remarks here. That would drive in that time of year, fall. That could be those people were really motivated to keep their price low and get out. So I'm looking at that one as just a relocation. That might have been an odd thing, and I don't think that that should impact my seller's value. So I'm going to go back to single line grid. I'll leave it in there, but I'll probably talk to her about that and explain that situation to her as to why that was so low priced. So what I'm trying to do is get her as much money as possible, and I'm looking at this price range over in here a lot stronger than I would look at this one. It has only been 2 years since she sold her house, but I'm hoping that these houses are where it would be very good comparables. So what I would do then is open it up to property short, should be good. And I'm going to look at them a little bit closer. So that would be the bottom one. So here's that house. That's actually quite similar to her home. And it had a list price of $249, but it got taken down to $235 before it sold. So that's an interesting history. And this one isn't exactly like her home, but I'll take it into account because it's got similar 3-car garage and looks like a good comparison price-wise. This one, 3-car garage, again, not exactly the same style home, but nice strong price point. Similar for size lot, similar for year built, foundation size, etc. So I'm going to keep that one. I'm just looking for what could I eliminate at this point. So this one sold at $250, and that just makes me wonder why, because it was listed at $235. So let's take a look at this and see what happened. I'm looking first to see if there was seller contributions involved in that. Doesn't look like it anyway. And then look, but it sold right during the mad rush of spring market last year. So that seller, I would say, did very, very well for themselves. And I would be interested to know if those buyers put more money down or what happened. So looking at these houses up above, how do we justify $223 for a sale price when it's not too terribly different than the house that I'm comparing it to that I have for sale? So I'm going to take a look at things here and see what would be different. Why did this house go quite a bit cheaper? Not much for interior photos. Bring all offers. House has a senior citizens tub you could sell and make money. I'm going to guess that there was some condition problems to that house. So let's move on to the next one. This one was multiple offers though, and it was in March of 2018, so spring market, even has snow on the ground. Really have to ask myself, why would I ask for more money than this house? I have to find a reason why, and I'm not sure that I can go to 235. What does my house offer that's more? I mean, in reality, this seller is moving way too soon. And I know I'm not showing you the actual property that I'm selling or going to be listing, and that's done very intentionally because privacy for that seller. Okay, so here's a neat way to do a house for the first home. So 225, or the first picture of the home. Nice look. I'm going to say mine's right on par with that. This is a tough thing. So, although I want to get her 235, and that was a nice family room. Very nice. Okay, so that's showing me 19 out of the 20 pictures. I'm reading highest and best. Home updates coming. Desk and second bedroom can stay. Just reading to see if there's anything in agent remarks that would tell me more. So that's quite a dilemma I have, just to be very honest with you, to take this home to listing. And we are a year different, so we could say 6% increase roughly for our appreciation in the market. If you do the math, you're probably going to get up there to 235. And granted, this is January of 2019, so that's a nice comp, getting into the 237 mark. This one's blowing me away, 250 that it sold for, so not sure what's going on with that. But again, I was wanting to see if I could get her into this 240, 235, 240 range. And to be honest, this house here, this one is the most similar to her style. It's a little bit more of a longer side split, not a center split. Very similar with kitchen. Very similar. Good wood floors, nicely finished family room, probably a fireplace down there that I just didn't see. Nice backyard. And this particular house I will be listing has a beautiful backyard. Lots of landscaping in it. So for that reason alone, I might be able to push it up into that area. So based on this, I like these all for comps. So I'm going to select all. This is how we start our CMA. Lots of discussion and probably actually more consideration given and time studying these comps and my subject property. So here I've checked them all. They're all in blue. I got to make sure that I put it back to actions. That's really important because that's where my CMA button is. So they're all checked, and I'm going to go into my CMA. And I'm going to pick a contact name. I'm just going to put my sister's name in here for now. And I'm going to say Buffalo CMA. So what you're going to see here are these buttons come across. So that showed up when we came into our CMA. And how you float around this is you move from pages. You could go to comps. You could go to any one of these tabs. You're all going to start in the pages because you don't have any of these selected pages given yet. You're going to open each one of these up like this. And right now I've got cover sheet. What if I want my cover sheet with agent photo? Well, that's right here. I actually have it in already. So that's how you're going to grab it. They'll grab one of them and choose it. Now, actually, I have too many. So if I have too many, I'm going to X out the ones I don't want. It gives you a choice of cover sheet or cover sheet with agent photo. I've got a summary list that came in under the next tab. So you can see here that it's showing me which ones they brought in, the summary list and the price adjustments. Now, I actually want to bring that down after my CMA map layout and my cover sheet agent photo. Minimums and maximums, I'm actually going to put it there. My CMA map layout is going to go down a bit further as well. I'm going to show where the map is after my summary list. And price adjustments, I don't even use price adjustments. I just pick houses that are most similar to mine. I advise you not to use price adjustments. I think it's acting like an appraiser. So I'm going to get rid of that one by Xing it out. So I did that for the rest of these. You click on them and then they're over here, and then you decide what order you want them in and which ones you want. So summary list, again, I'm still playing with this. I'm going to go underneath my comparables. Table summary of solds, chart days on market, chart list date and sale price, pricing recommendations, and then all these are kind of what's called the static pages. That's that button right there. Your map will show up right here. Let me double check that. Yep, there's the CMA map layout. Now you could move that down even farther if you'd like. So I kind of like it, yeah, I'll probably put it after the comparables. And minimums and maximums, definitely want to move that probably right there. So you'll be able to get a feel for things as you work them around. Now you go to your subject property. And in this case, I'd probably fill in her PID because I want to bring it up from the county, and then I'd hit fill. I'm not going to do this to protect hers, so I could also go find a former listing number on hers if I wanted to. Then I can look at my cover photo. Notice that my information populates here because I filled out that my matrix, my information CMA portion. Once I determine the property address, I can use browse and bring a picture up that I've taken or one that I know of for the property. Here's a list of all my comparables right here. So those are brought in. Here's my map of comparables. So it'll show all the addresses of properties. And because I didn't put an address in, the subject property, which is in this area, did not show up. And then adjustments is faded out because I personally don't want to do adjustments. I don't feel that I should be adjusting for bedrooms, garage stalls. I just feel like that is getting closer to an appraisal, and I am not in the appraisal business right now. I'm doing a competitive market analysis. I'm going to find houses that are close to it, and then we're going to make a decision based on which one is going to be the best proof of comparable. Pricing, there's going to be some pricing recommendations that are given to me based on this. Computer generated low, median, average, and high, and how many properties I have are 11. This is all your suggested list price, and it's text that as soon as you click, it's going to go away. So do not go with this 350, right? Click here and start typing your own information. And I encourage you to do not average. I don't think we should be picking averages for a way to come up with our pricing. Do come up with a bracketed price. So I would say based on, if I could spell, on the comparisons, I recommend a price range. Always put in a price range of $235 to $245,000. Now I might be a little bit liberal on that one, to be quite honest, but I'm going to do a few more things to show you what I think can happen with this. And then I could type certain notes here, like based on condition and motivation. Because what is the one thing we're not going to change on this house? Location. So that's good. Now, as I'm doing this, I think you all should hit save now and then. But interestingly enough, even though I've got that part done, I'm not done. I'm not going to go to finish and show you my finished project yet. I want you all to consider in your comparables expanding your viewpoint now that we've got solds. What could we expand out to for additional? So I'm going to go add from listings, and here's where I'm going to pick up my pendings. It's going to take me right back to my search, and I'm going to click pending instead. And now I have 0 matches, probably because it hasn't sold yet. Keep very much in mind that you've got to make some adjustments now. So I'm going to take that out and put it up above because it would be considered listing. Still 0. It's because I don't have a close date yet on a pending. So I'm going to just take that out, and I'm looking for all homes that are pending with this square footage and bedrooms and garage. Now, I'm probably getting too limited with my square footage there, so I'm just going to do something here and see what happens if I take that out. Look at that, it went to 4 matches. So there is a little bit of an art to find out the data that you can get here. I've also got a pretty expanded price range there, but I'm just going to look at results of those pendings for that area. And I want to expand that out to a thumbnail view. So I've got similar looking house, not so similar looking house, but similar style. And that's a Rambler. So I'm wondering what that's about because it's a 4-level split. It just looked like a Rambler. Okay. So as I look at these, I'm looking at price range. These are the asking prices. We don't know what the pending prices is, but can you see how very much that is improved overall? So now I'm going to look at property short because I want to expand out the photos and the reading of this. And granted, I would do even more study and do a full property review for the full report, but I want to take a look at these and see if they're on par. Even the colors are the same for this one. That's interesting. Very on par to my listing. Okay, so that looks pretty similar. And square footage. I'm going to look at my square footage. Very good. And that's 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, year built. Interesting, interesting. All very interesting. Here's another one. This is the 250. Interesting to see what this one will sell at when I finally see it closed. Lots of snow on the ground. Okay, looking at that, I would say again, very, very interesting comparable. We're on slide 11. There's 34 photos. I think we're seeing, I want to see something here. That's actually the same floor plan, the way we come up into the house that I've listed. So I'm paying very close attention to this one at this time. I'm very hopeful for my seller, right? I want them to get the most money. That's my fiduciary duty. I saw something else here. Unique angle main level vanity and sink. I thought maybe that was a master bath. So I might have to look at that more closely. My particular home that I'm going to be listing for my seller does not have a master bath. It's only a main floor bath and then a downstairs bath. So I might look at this more closely to see, is this one offering, I'm going to look at the bedrooms, baths, and such. Here we go. So 2 full bathrooms on here, it looks like. So I'm going to guess that one of them is up and one of them is down. That would make most sense. Okay, so that's just kind of helping me in my head with what we've got there. So now I'm going to go back to I like that property short. It's my favorite. Okay, so that's just very interesting. And I might have actually clicked on the wrong one now that I think about it. I think it was this one. I'm going to do the same look. Bathrooms. 2 full baths. You see it right here. All right, so main floor, full bath, master walkthrough, full basement. Okay. Bath description's telling us right there, and there's a whirlpool bath. So it's a walkthrough compared to a master bath, so I'm going to go with that it's similar enough to my home, because my bathroom for the home that I'm listing could have been a walkthrough bath easily. Anybody could make it into one, so I'm going to compare that and say it's all good. So this one's interesting, really high. So is this one, really high. And I'm looking at acreage to see if that impacted it, and it didn't really seem to. Sometimes I just have to scratch my head. Just very interesting, modern kind of attempt there with the railings. I don't know. Oh, wow. Huh. You guys are looking at this live with me, so that's what I'm seeing for a refrigerator. Very different. Some seller really feels that they put a lot of money into this home. It's got a different kind of vibe to it. And there might be a buyer that really likes this look. I am showing a buyer currently in the Savage area that would like this look. So that could be attractive, and why they may feel that they put more money into it, and that's what they need out of it. So in any case, as I look at these in the thumbnail view, I would give consideration to this one being very close to the home that I'm going to be listing, and this one being very close to the style of my home that I'm going to list. And that's it. I'm not going to go with the other two. We're getting really high there, and I think just a very unique style, and I'm going to guess that this one's quite a bit more updated. So I'm going to add selected. Now, if I wanted to, I could go and look what's active. So I've got my 2 pendings here, all the rest sold. So I'm going to go to add from listings, and I'm going to go to active. And this will cover from much of what I've already changed my stats to, as far as taking out the close date and moving it to list price. I've only got 1 match. Let's go see it. Whoop, I think we just moved the screen away. There we go. Well, it's being a little jumpy. Sorry about that. All right, I'm going to just hit search again because it's just funny like that. It does that. First of all, I want to just click here. $230,000 is the original list price. It's already sold and under inspection. It's very close to Buffalo Lake, very close to the area that I need my listing to be. It's got a foundation size of 960, below ground of 800, so total of 1760, maybe a teeny bit smaller than mine. It's got 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 3 car garage, year built. This is all very close to what I'm looking at, and $230 for the sale price. Probably not very long on the market. Look at that nice updated white kitchen. Very nice, very clean, very nice. That's a real contender as to what my house would be doing that I'm going to be listing. I have to take a very honest look at that one. It's been on the market 19 days. Super clean, move-in ready, ready for buyers. Seller has done extensive renovating and updating in the last 5 years. Welcome home, located on quiet, no outlet street. The home is clean, ready for you to make your own. So, lower level walks out to convenient access to the backyard. 3 car garage is insulated. I gotta say, that's a very interesting comp that I feel I need to tell my seller about. So I'm going to click that to include it and add selected. So it's not all good news, is it? Some good news in that higher price range, but some at $230, not a lot higher than what we bought it for. And then these pendings. Now, that's active, and we'll see if there's multiple offers that come in on that, and if it's going to have bidding war, that might go up higher. And so I have to give that some time. As you can see, a market analysis draws in a lot of details, a lot of thoughts, if this, then that. And I basically try to look at it from a buyer's perspective. If a buyer were looking at 2 of similar houses, what makes one worth more than another? So I am now done, and I can look at my comparables in many different views. Sometimes at this point I go ahead and do customer full, so that when I print out the report, it's shown that way to the seller. And I would click finish. And actually, I would hit save in there because I've had the power glitch out on me and lose everything. So there, it's been saved. Now, I can email the CMA, and she's going to get all these cover sheets, or I can view the CMA. So I just want to show you it in the view so you can see the finished product. I do believe it's good to print these out in color, and you can fancy them up with a binder if you wish, put a plastic cover on the top, use thicker paper if you'd like. This does look quite nice when you actually put the listing photo in, by the way. And then there's my information prepared for my sister Cindy. Won't actually go to her, right? Now what's going to happen is the subject property is always going to be on the left, and then the details are going to be for the competitive properties or the competing properties for the competitive market analysis right here. Now here's the active status and the pending status. So each and every page that we roll through, the subject property stays on the left, and you can see we can compare the data when we're live in front of the people. Now we're to another pending and another sold. And so it's going to be some nice, easy comparison because the subject property is always on the left. And what you need to show your seller at this point is, here's what we're finding, quite a big range, to be honest. Here's our 230 range justified, but again, what makes this property go all the way up to 240, and then we can go even higher? What makes this property go, where was that one? Oh, I guess it was probably earlier. That one that went up to 240, 245, I believe it was. All right, so that helps us with much of the pricing. Here it was, that 250. We'd have to really do some research to see if that one could stay in there or not. Because as you look across the lines, you've got similar square footage, similar foundation size, similar total square footage finished. So if we're going to, we didn't have any of our stats in there, but it was really similar to most of these properties. So we would do that when that data filled in here. We would see how similar it is. So know that when you actually have a subject property load, you would be doing that. You would be saying, okay, is it about the same? But why does this one sell at 240 and this one's at 250? And you'll do those comparisons. All righty. So that is a CMA. Now, of course, what you'd probably want to do is download it, save it to your computer. Okay? I don't really need to see this view of it anymore. I'm not going to keep it. I've saved it in my system, though, in case I ever want to go back and go to CMAs that I've done. This one will now show up as a CMA that I did. I can look by date, when created, and it will tell me as of here it is. It's not even showing the date because it's showing the time that I did it for Cindy Hardell in Buffalo. And I can get in here and do more edits to it if I need to in the future. So I'm going to take you back home now and show you again. If you need more studying on how to do a CMA, you're going to go to the YouTube channel, which I already have brought up here in another tab, and you're going to type the word CMA right here. And there's a lot of different things you can go on to learn more about the CMA. Let me just speak about Cloud CMA. That is a paid-for subscription. I don't know of anybody. I'm sure there are people that pay for it. I'm not going to be teaching on that, just so you know. Zoe is a friend of mine here. She did this video for help on measuring, if you would like some measuring help. So there's a listing presentation here for you. There's a lot of different videos. Let me tell you, if you're getting ready to do some marketing and you're a new agent and you're wondering how the heck am I going to do a CMA, you need to do some practice CMAs in order to get up to speed. So there'll be further instruction given to you if you haven't already gotten it, that we'll be doing some mock properties, and you're going to go in and do some CMAs just like we did. So you'll want to watch this back maybe 2 or 3 times, and let me know if you have questions. But I'm going to ask if you've gone in and looked at the YouTubes. So what I'm trying to prevent is that you have a critical need and you need to know how to do a CMA, and I'm not available, and nobody else seems to be available. I want you to get to this prior to you getting to that stage. So I want you to pick out a property and then try to do a CMA in, maybe it's on your own home or a relative's home, and you go into the YouTube channel and learn all you can after you've done this video. So I hope that that's been helpful for you. I'll be bringing out more videos.